We're delighted to be back here with you again for another virtual artist reception. We have Charlotte Nickel tonight, as well as Larry Peters and Barbara Waterman Peters. And so we're going to get started with Charlotte. And Charlotte, you're going to be talking about your color progression, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Among other things.
Among other things. All right. The floor is yours, Charlotte.
I'm happy to be here. Oh, talk louder.
Speak up. Yes, please.
Okay. Well, I really am very happy to be here. It's been a long time since I talked about my work. So here you go. I wanted to talk particularly about how I knew that I was going to be an artist when I was about 11 years old. Actually, it happened earlier than that. I remember when I was around 6 years old, I was sitting at the kitchen table with my grandfather Nickel, who loved to draw. So he kind of tried to teach me how to draw a hand, but you know, I was pretty young then. But I just remember that very fondly, that he was really into drawing. And one thing that he did that influenced me so much was he did cut out animals, silhouettes of animals cut out. And he did them from his head. He didn't have to look at an animal, he didn't need to look at a picture. He just would take scissors and cut. And you know, he did all sorts of animal cutouts. And he had done it for many, many years, so they were always around. He did deer, cows, pigs, birds, elks, dogs, cats, chickens, and rabbits. So maybe about, let's see, I guess it was in 2012, we have a book of his animal cutouts that the family got. We all got a book of them. And I was looking through them, and I realized that I really wanted to use them in my work, that it would be important for me to do that. So I was really attracted to the rabbits for some reason. I decided that the rabbits were represented innocence, free-spiritedness, whimsy, kind of a motion in space, moving in space. And that's one thing I really wanted to portray. And so this is a work called Rabbits in the Zone. I especially like this one because his ears are flying. But you know, they all kind of look like they're going somewhere. And it's very free feeling. There are some other paintings I've done with rabbits that are even more free, more of a kind of a wild atmosphere, with moons and all sorts of shapes in them, and they are, you know, quite dynamic. But this particular one is a little more confined because I named it Rabbits in the Zone. It's got some structures in it that you see the rabbits kind of navigating around in. So anyway, that's what makes that unique. I wanted to talk about also my use of color. When I first came to the gallery, I remember bringing a bunch of paintings up for Alan to look at and decide on. And I brought, I think it was a rabbit painting with lots of pink. And she was, you know, I mean, there were others she chose, but that was funny because she was like, this is just so much pink. and you know, I totally agree with her. Of course, I reworked that painting later. But this was a piece that was in one of my first shows here. I think, yeah, I think This is called centrifugal force. Has to do with a centrifugal force.
There you go. Yeah.
Movement and just an atmosphere that's dynamic, that shifts around. And I was sure painting with a lot of pinks during this phase. But then things kind of shifted for me. I started working, I did a piece here called Lift Off. I think this is a good example of what happens to artists. I did this painting and
Let's see if we can get a look at that one. It's down on the floor, so it's not in the shot at all. Okay, here we go.
oh, okay.
Yeah, you're fine.
But I did not know that. I did this piece and I named it and everything, Lift Off.
Would you actually hold that up for her so we can get them both? Sorry.
Shall I start?
Just do a Vanna White thing with that one, Mary, so
she
can. So we can have her. Accidentally, I turned off my phone. I'm sorry. That's what this clamp hits the buttons, so it. Okay. I'm good. Okay. All right. Sorry, folks. We're back. Try it again. Okay. Here we go.
We had to take a station break. So this piece is called Lift Off, and I did it in the summer, about a year ago, I believe. Really into the oranges and kind of light colors. I called it Lift Off just because I was thinking about how, a balloon goes up, light feeling, light, airy feeling. And then about a month later, I realized it was the 50th anniversary of Apollo 5, or Apollo, whatever it was. The astronauts, 50 years since the astronauts stepped onto the moon. So it's like, that was perfect. But,
Thank you, Mary.
you're welcome. As far as my colors,
All right, where were we? You're gonna talk about the. Okay, you're good.
as far as my colors, you would think that I picked colors to use, but I really don't. I'm really just really drawn to colors, certain colors, like I was here. And then right now, these blues and greens and kind of a purple, dark blue. The main color here to me is the turquoise because it kind of radiates off of the surface. And I'm just totally in love with that. I want to do like 10 more pieces of that color.
Should we go to the other one now?
Yeah.
All right, zooming around. Hi, Barbara. Hi, Larry. Okay.
Pick me!
Yay.
This piece
I'm coming.
is called In Heavenly Places, and I also have another name for it. We can name it one or the other. The other name is Force in Nature. I kind of like both of them actually, because to me this looks like a very significant event of some kind in nature, like wild wind, just an explosive atmosphere that is shifting and changing. So that's a lot of times what the sky does and what the landscape does, especially here in Kansas. But I'm very attached to this piece as well, just because this purple and this turquoise, and you can tell I wear turquoise. I'm just crazy about it. So that's kind of what drives my painting, I guess, is just my just sheer craving certain colors and doing them. So,
All right. So
yeah.
I don't see any questions. You have a few compliments.
Oh,
Your paintings are exquisitely beautiful, according to one commenter. And I'm seeing if anybody has any questions. We can always come back and do questions later.
I have a question.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So you started to say you don't specifically choose a color or something
right,
like that.
right.
So does it evolve as you're painting?
Yes,
Or
very
do
much.
you start and you look at the canvas and you're like,
No.
no, you just whatever strikes you that day.
Yeah, but it's not even just a day. It's like I'm in a phase right now.
I have seen that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm
Yes.
just in this phase, and that's what you're gonna see for the next 6 months, probably.
Sure. Sure.
Is these colors.
Yeah.
And then it'll shift, and I don't know why it does. It's just it's kind of a spiritual thing that I go through. That I just feel the need to paint.
Well, one of my, since Kevin and I took over the gallery, I've seen, have numerous different experiences, which have all been just delightful. But one of them is, and it was one of your paintings,
Really?
that the grandmother was redecorating the bedroom for her grandchildren, and she wanted to put art in there, and she brought her granddaughter in,
Oh.
and she said, you can have this one or you can have this one, and they were both yours, and the granddaughter got to choose which one she wanted, because the grandmother said, this is going to be yours someday.
Oh, wow.
So
That
I
was
just,
nice.
you know, this is
Well,
a
this is
testament to the longevity of art,
Yeah,
and that it's
Yeah.
important to bring your family into it, because art is something that goes on.
I agree.
You know, it's something you pass down.
I agree. It's long term.
It's long term.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, there was something else.
I do have a question for you, Charlotte.
Yes.
The question is, could you talk about the contrast between geometric straight line forms and billowing free form?
You got me. I don't know. I just knew I wanted to make this really straight line. You know, it's really very intuitive. I just paint from feelings completely, and then I felt like this line was important. It's a way to emphasize certain things, and yet this in through here just does feel really free. This, and then I needed a line here because there's just a real need for definition. Some days, you know, it just strikes me, oh yeah, I've got to do that. So that's why
Okay.
I love this shape. I've used it quite often in my work.
Does the circle mean anything special to
No,
you?
It's just a gorgeous, I love the oval. I think it's heavenly. I just think it's a beautiful shape. There's a lot going on in this piece. There it is again. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I missed
Oh,
part of that.
Barbara has a question for you.
Okay.
Do you want to move back
Sure.
over? Well, let's
Yeah.
situate back in here so we can get ready for. All right.
I have a very definite question about who are your influences?
Oh, well.
I actually think I can answer that one. I'm not sure about that. So,
Well, I'll tell you what, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I think I will just because of the question. I was 30 years old. I just married a man from Emporia, came to Emporia. I was taking a pottery class at ESU and went up into Trustler Gallery and was looking around and saw a Richard Slyman painting. And it just floored me. It truly just floored me. I was just like, who is this? And, you know, I realized that I wanted to study with him, and I mean, it was a fluke that I came to Emporia. It was just totally, I felt like that was just, you know, a divine event that I landed there, that I got to study under him. You know, his work is just amazing. It's very hard to explain it. I don't know how you explain it. It's deeply spiritual. And it comes, I don't know where it comes from. It's deep within him, it comes out of him. But his critiques were quite fun. Really.
Really, they were fun.
They were.
Oh, good, okay.
I was really scared the first time because he was like, oh, he's tough. You know, he's not real easy on students. And I had done the diptych at that time. It was 1985, I think, yeah. And he really liked it. And I was so surprised and so enamored. I was really scared. I was, you know, thinking, no, he's not going to like it. And there were times when he didn't like things. And you would just hear that something's not working here. And he would show you where and everything.
Evidence of a great teacher.
Yeah. Gee, I had some things written down about him now. I don't know what they are. Oh, in his critiques, he would say, I digress. He would go into these long talking about how this and that happened and thinking about, and then he'd talk about artists, different artists that he was influenced by and what he thought about them. And he'd tell stories about them. And, it was like stream of consciousness, kind of, the way he talked. And you think, well, I'm not getting anything out of this. And that just really wasn't true. You would realize later how much you gleaned. It was just, so anyway, he was an influence, a great influence. He liked Richard Diebenkorn a whole lot, and so do I. You know, Diebenkorn does huge abstract paintings that are actually like streetscapes. They look like streets, but to me, they look, all I see is the abstractness of them and the beautiful shapes and colors. That's just, to me, that's what his work is all about. And they just radiate together, the colors. And so, you know, that was really, going to ESU was an amazing experience.
Yay, wonderful. Thank you, Charlotte.
All right. I don't know if we have any questions, Amy?
There's not any more questions for her. We can always, if people have,
Always come back.
yeah, if people have questions for Charlotte, we can ask her later. So, did you want to introduce
Well,
next?
I can certainly do that. Now that we're a little more comfortable doing all this, I just want
Yes.
to say Charlotte has a special place in my heart because I'm an imported girl. So,
And she brings us food.
and she brings us food and sometimes chocolate. She
Chocolate
brings
counts,
us for
yeah.
Baby. Baby was a little disappointed to do this last time. Are you doing this? She loves you anyway. She loves you next time. Next time. Okay. All right. All right. So we're